What is being tested? What is the purpose of an interview? Knowledge and aptitude are by and large tested in the written part itself. The reason why you are checked on these 2 or 3 parameters is that in your actual work environment, you are likely to come across with a large number of unpredictable, unforeseen circumstances which can be handled only if you can think logically. On the other hand, you may be extremely good at logical thinking or maybe doing things for just the heck of it. It shows poor commitment.
The second thing in interviews is you will have to think logically. When I say logically, what I mean to say is try to use a lot of common sense. Obviously, the guy across the table who's interviewing you probably will put forth some deadly questions or try and put a bowl of googly to you. Now, how do you handle a googly? So you'll have to watch his hand and then play a googly, right? Similarly, even in interviews, when you get googlies and bouncers bowled at you, you will have to be very clear what you want to do. Either you avoid the bouncer or hook it for a 6. In a googly, you read the googly and defend the ball. Same thing in interviews. You have to understand what is talking through using your common sense. So apply as much as possible common sense in all interviews and try to be logical.
Hello, I'd like to order french fries, a burger, and a milkshake.
This is a library.
I'd like to order french fries, a burger, and a milkshake.
How do they check commitment? The interview is not limited to academics. It is going to be on a few different areas. More often than not, very few of us have a choice with academics. We haven't had the opportunity to exercise our choice in academics. However, there can be other areas where we actively participate out of choice, like our hobby or an interest such as sports. Knowledge, commitment. If you're extremely fond of movies or sports, a level of commitment can be checked by the knowledge you have in that field. If a person is participating in an area out of choice, he or she is likely to gain incidental knowledge about that area.
Alice, I want you to interview a job candidate. Let me know what you think.
Why did you leave your last job?
I punched my boss.
He's exactly what we need.
There are a lot of young people who are trying to get into journalism, especially in your kind of field. And what is that you look from a young employee? Like suppose I want to join you. I want to join the Hindu. I'm a youngster. What is that quality in the youngster would you like to look before you employ an youngster?
You want to find out why he or she comes into journalism. Because now these days they come from many disciplines. In fact, we get a lot of engineers because there are so many engineering plus colleges in the south and across India now. So quite a few, I would say 25%, 30% of people we interview have a technological background, they engineering or computer science, IT and so on. And you've got to find out what brings them to journalism, because there are other careers which may possibly pay more, or you may go abroad. When you interview somebody, you look for why they came into journalism, this young man or young woman. Secondly, whether they are willing to do the hard work. I find that those who are qualified and educated these days, there's one problem I find among youngsters. They'll come in often with idealistic motives, but they're very restless. They quickly get bored with the routine stuff, the mundane stuff. And it's very hard to overcome it because I think it's good that their expectations are high. But I tell them that if, for example, give you a concrete example, you want somebody in Madurai or in Hubli, because we have editions there, or in Mangalore, or in a small town, I want to keep them in Trichy, and so on. There's a need there. They'll say yes, in the interview stage, they'll say yes, we'd love to go there. But in a year or two, we bet You can take a bet that they will say that my fiancé is there, I want to go, my mother is not well, all kinds of reasons. They will gravitate towards the metro. And this is, I think, a problem. This is a problem with expectations and motivation, because they want to be on the fast track before they are prepared. I tell them that in Japan, for example, which has a huge media industry, newspaper industry, the world's largest circulated newspapers, Yomiuri Shimbun and Asahi Shimbun, they're talking about 12 million circulation or 10 million copies sold on a daily basis. Virtually everyone starts in a small place, and you work for 2, 3, 4 years before you get their experience. Same thing in the UK it used to be, that you start in a local paper, a regional paper, and then come to London for the big papers. But here, now it's the other way around. If you think you're bright, if you're qualified, the market, because the Indian market, you can, there are jobs, they will recruit. I leave quickly, and this, I think, is not a very good thing. I'm not saying you should stay there for 10 years, 20 years as your counterparts in the old days did, and it's a free world. But you must be prepared to do the hard work, and we try to find out, but often we fail. Because they will think one thing now, 2 years down the road, the same guy, the same young man or young woman will do it. So we have a joke that for these youngsters, in our newsroom we have a revolving door, especially in our office. Especially if they go to good journalism schools and they command a premium value when they're interviewed. Different people want you. Then this is a problem, and I would say for youngsters, be more patient. Learn the value of experience, of doing mundane things, routine things, because you're not ready. You're not ready to write editorials. You're not ready to do analysis. You're not ready yet. You need that experience.